is to acknowledge the beautiful and divine in you, even as I acknowledge the beautiful and divine in myself. Therefore, I greet you all with the two most powerful, most ancient words spoken in all times by all masters. And with that, I greet you with, I am. Welcome to the Self-Empowerment Center. Here we provide and practice biovibrational science. Biovibrational science is the study and process of managing energy flow within biological and environmental systems. Here we have 5 disciplines. We have biovibrational environmental technology. We have biovibrational wellness, biovibrational therapy, biovibrational physical arts, and we have the life engineering lesson, also known as the wisdom teaching. Here we have 8 points of knowing. We are beyond believers. We are knowers. And by experience, we know these 8 points. We know that there is an intelligent energy source that exists within and throughout everything, that it is the substance of all things. We call this source consciousness, which may be further defined as cosmic energy and creative intelligence. It is through this consciousness that we live, move, and have being, and awaken to a true knowledge of ourselves. We know that there is an 8-fold path which manifests within consciousness, embodied in the sacred text, expressed in the lives of ascended masters, and the wisdom teachings of our Self-Empowerment Center. We know that consciousness actively interacts with human beings through the processes of universal law, terrestrial law, and conscience, which is our internal compass. We know that in their natural state, the human being is a vegan with an active lifestyle, including a personal naturopathic plan and the practice of physical arts. We know that the use of technologies lift the burden of negative and dark energies from our personal atmosphere and summon connection, wealth, and access to our personal atmosphere. The chief of these technologies is meditation. We know that every human being is born with a divine essence, and that the purpose of our incarnation in the earth is to discover the unique set of gifts housed within this essence and share them with the world. This divine essence, fully expressed, releases us from the cycle of suffering under which sentient beings live and elevates us to the level of ascended mastery. We know that ascended masters are in our midst, and that the universe continually dispenses ascended masters through incarnation and our meditation for the purposes of guiding human beings to self-actualization. And finally, we know that a critical mass of ascended masters, guided by the above 7 principles, have the ability to activate a consciousness in humanity that will result in connection, wealth, access, peace, harmony, and balance for all living beings. And with that, I want to welcome you to a very, very special satsang experience. You're now here at the Self-Empowerment Center. We want to welcome you, and we also want to let you know that you can connect with us at biovibrationalscience.com. On there, you can connect with us. You can go to our online store and order various and sundry anointed products. Go and look, and also feel free to connect with us through donations. We welcome your energy in all forms, your emotional energy, your heart, and your financial energy. As you experience today's satsang experience, you will know why we are so very strongly, deeply called to take this experience around the world. And we thank you again for joining us with that experience, in that experience. And now I want to welcome up Rob Vishnu.
The highest greeting that I can greet anyone is to recognize the beautiful and divine in them, even as I recognize the beautiful and divine in myself. I therefore greet you in the ancient words spoken by different masters at different times, in different languages, and different cultures, simply as I am. We want to give gratitude to the pantheon of forces that will be guiding us today, individually and collectively. Ashe.
Ashe.
We are about to do a mantra, and mantras help to reprogram the subconscious mind. And we know the subconscious mind is where feeling is, and that's what drives our reality. So we want to reprogram our subconscious mind by reciting this mantra. And we want to first start off by smiling. We're going to smile, and we're going to recite a Kemetic chant. It's Mku Ankh Uda Snell, which really means connection, wealth, and access. And we're going to begin this by starting with 3 ohms, and then we'll get right into the mantra. Let us begin. Let's begin. Mku Ankh Uda Snell. 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 Mku Ankh Uda Snell.
Arula is the absolute root and makes all of my decisions firm and resolute. Arula is my internal compass and my wisdom that guides me throughout the day. Great Arula, to thee I pray. The sound of her name makes your vibrations quiver as she comforts you with the blankets of her rivers. Can you feel her tides with the fullness of the moon? Awaken my Shekwal, O goddess Ashun. Shango holds the fire of the solar plexus, undefeated in war and chivalrous. The power of his name will bring your nemesis retribution. Shango is my chi and my energy distribution. Ogun is the subconscious jing that makes my sword sting. A warrior who mends both the terrestrial and the celestial, my rod and my staff, my ancestral. He can bring the storm or the calm. Ogun gave me both iron and cosmic palm. Elegua is where my path begins. At my 5th chakra, he told me that my mind is my pen. It's up to you to choose your glory. Your skin is the hieroglyphs that tell your story. Thank you, Elegua, for opening my door and introducing me to my Yimiya at her shore. She's my ocean of soul, my air, my liquid gold. I meditate in the embryonic fluid of her womb. She told me through my 3rd eye that the transformation of the forces are coming soon. We do not operate out of the spirit of fear. Ascended masters, the cosmos is your gear. If you are made of water, how could you possibly drown? Yimiya is my body, and Obatala is my crown. My Father, who art in the universe, thank you for peace, harmony, and my rebirth. The forces of nature who guide me and show me the way. Great Orisha, to thee I pray.
The absolute highest greeting that I can greet any one of you with is to acknowledge the beautiful and the divine in you, even as I acknowledge the beautiful and the divine in myself. Therefore, I greet you with words of liberation, words of activation, and the words of creation, I am. I'd like for you to center yourself. I'm going to do a brief meditation. I'm going to take a few deep breaths to begin that centering. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Once again, inhale. Exhale. And gently close your eyes. Continue to breathe at your own pace. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling slowly through the mouth. Allow your minds to empty. Give your fleeting thoughts permission to leave. want you to imagine with me that you are in your favorite place in nature. Could be at the beach, be at the park, by a lake, by a river. You to feel the sunlight touching your skin, feel the warmth of the sun embracing you, feel the gentle caress of the breeze. Wherever you are, the sky is blue, the weather is perfect. If you see yourself by water, hear the rush of the river, hear the breath of the ocean. Smell the fresh air around you. Feel the earth beneath your feet. And in this place of bliss, I'd like for you to imagine a green light, green light that is circling around your feet. And that light is continuing to circle around your body as it works its way up around your ankles, around your legs. Feel this green light around your knees. Feel this green light working its way up, encasing, embracing your entire being in green light. Feel this green light around your waist, around your body, around your heart, your shoulders. Feel this green light pulsate from you, outwardly from you. Feel the waves of green light emanating from your being. This green light holds the vibration and frequency of love, divine love. A universal love, an all-encompassing love, a healing love. Feel this light heal as it touches anything around you. Feel this light healing you from your feet up to your head and emanating outward this loving, healing energy pulsating from your being. And it attracts like, love, and healing energy. Feel this light begin to expand. Feel your energy, your vibration and frequency expanding around you, blanketing the earth around you. Feel your ancestors singing in glory and praise and gratitude for this healing and loving energy that is emanating from your being. Oh, I can feel this energy. It's a beautiful embrace of green light. Allow it to hold you and cradle you, comforting you, strengthening you as you radiate this green light from our being, spreading love and healing energy. Just take a few deep breaths. Once again, wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a big squeeze in this green light. Carry this light with you. Carry this light with you. Spread and share love and light, energy to you, yourself, your family, your friends, and those that are around you. Receive this love and light energy from the beings around you. Reflect this love and light energy to all.
The highest greeting that I can give to anyone is to acknowledge the beautiful and divine in them, even as I acknowledge the beautiful and divine in myself. I therefore greet all of you in the ancient words spoken by our masters in all generations, at different times and in different languages. I am. It's good to be coming and broadcasting to you today. We're delighted to be here in the Self-Empowerment Center, the Center for Biovibrational Science, and we want to continue today to uplift you, to empower you, and to strengthen you in this series, this timely series entitled Mental Alchemy. And so to begin, I want us to take a little moment to think back many, many years ago in the 60s when Dr. King was faced with a very difficult challenge as they were moving through the civil rights movement. There was a point in time when 4 little girls were murdered in a church. And I can remember going through my doctoral program and studying the work of Dr. King, and Stanford University had blessed us with an opportunity to see some of his writings and the work that he had done off the camera. And he talked about in his writings and in his discussion with friends and letters the difficulty of dealing with that murder, 4 little girls. First and foremost,
he felt somewhat responsible because a lot of people were saying, and to some degree he could believe himself, that if he had not stirred up anything, if he had not provoked the situation in the South, perhaps the whites wouldn't have attacked that church that day. He was also grappling with a situation in which people were now questioning their faith and questioning his strategy, because his civil rights strategy of agitation through nonviolent protest and movement was also a Christian kind of movement. And so he was grappling with that. How could his God allow that to happen? And then finally he was grappling with fear, with people who were afraid now, and said that there was nothing that the enemy would not do, nothing that the enemy was afraid to do to stop what this group of people, our ancestors and many of our elders, were working to do. So I was very surprised when he was asked to do the eulogy for those little girls, because why wouldn't the parents feel resentment? Why wouldn't they be angry with him? Why wouldn't they just push him out of town, a place that he hardly had grown up in? But they understood, and he came to understand, that the moment that they were dealing with was bigger than them. He understood that if it wasn't so much what would happen if he hadn't done what he did, but what would happen if he did not continue to do what he was doing. You see, they had already been suffering. They had already been going through some things all along. And so this was just the latest happening in a continuous set of events of oppression that had been happening throughout history. We find ourselves in a similar situation today, except the enemy is supposedly unseen. The enemy is supposedly something that affects everyone, no matter what race, no matter what color, no matter where you come from. There are no mega churches this morning. We're all on equal footing, aren't we? But the question still is, who is God? And what philosophy will take you through this time? Some philosophies can take you through a time and you can dismiss the fact or the experience that there's not an answer, that they can't answer hard questions. But when it becomes life and death, when you are squeezed, then you start to understand who's real and who's not. What philosophy can withstand the questions of the hour? So we're still dealing with an oppressive agent, and we're still in a situation where we cannot fold, where we cannot shrink under the pressure of the social norm, of the social oppression, and this illness that is here. We can't shrink under it. But the question is, what philosophical approach works? How do you maintain your spirituality now? Well, in biovibrational science, we've taught you that we are the congealing and the cumulative power of all movements, of all philosophy, of all spirituality. We have shown you, and we continue to show you even now, that the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that are within the libraries and the faculty of the divine mind of this science covers all gamuts, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what faith system or lack of faith system you come from. Biovibrational science supports us as human beings moving through all of those different mechanisms today. So, rather than viewing it as an indication that it was time to stop, King enveloped a different understanding, and we have a different understanding too. this is not the time for you to run away from your spirituality and begin to accept the philosophy of society and the instructions and the suggestions of society as your primary vehicle for your intelligence and your information. If that's what you start to do, then you weren't on the level of spirituality that you needed to be on in the first place. So you have to start to think to yourself, no matter what happens, I'm not going to lose me. I'm not going to lose my spirit. I'm not going to lose myself. You understand? And this is true in the scriptures, whether it be the Quran, whether it be the Bible, whether it be the Torah, whether it be the Tao Te Ching, whatever scripture you're looking at, the universe has always created in the ascended masters the ability to say to their narcissist, to that disease, to that Nebuchadnezzar, that irrespective of what happens, I know that I will make it. I will survive this. I will thrive in this. It's very interesting. It's critical. That in the book of Mark, when Yeshua is speaking to the disciples and to the people there, he expressly says that those that believe would be able to pick up serpents and not be harmed, be able to drink poisonous liquid and survive. And yet, in today's world, people are shrinking. Not only shrinking from the issue of the disease, but shrinking from the issue of the paper being taken, the money being taken, the world being taken, the what I was comfortable being. You know, if I was comfortable where I was happy. I may not have been happy, you know, I complained about it, but actually now I'm finding I really like society just the way it was, including the nationalists, the Christian folk, everybody. Everybody actually liked it. Because you're crying because it's gone, at least for now. But what I want you to get to a point now is this is the moment where you start to understand that your spiritual nature, your energy system is primary. It is primary. It is absolutely primary. And everything in the terrestrial and social realm is temporary and secondary. And because if you don't get your head together, you're going to freeze. You're going to freeze on facts, frozen acceptance of cognitive theory. You're going to freeze on the facts that are being given to you if you don't allow your spirituality to be supreme and you allow the psychology of this world to continue. But it wasn't just Yeshua that said that. The Tao Te Ching says that when you are in this consciousness, when you're in this mind, I'm going to tell you what your immunity is. When you are in a certain kind of mind, the wild ox has nowhere to thrust his home. There is nowhere, this is coming from the Tao Te Ching now, there is nowhere for death to enter in. Because when I'm in a certain mind, in a certain consciousness, you see, then there is no terrestrial law, no grave, no death that can stop me. Now, when you come into that type of mind, then you immediately create a force field around yourself. And you start now to be incubated in a time like this. You start to go into hibernation in a time like this. You start to go into a meditative state in a time like this, and you get a deeper level of your spirituality because now you have the time, you have the resources, you have the opportunity to go deeper into your own spirituality. It's critical. Now, how do we start to get into that mind? First of all, you've got to reprogram the conscious mind. Now, one of the things that we've taught on a continuous basis is that you have the unified energy field which is the universe itself, as we call it. And in that unified energy field, you have all of the positive emotions. Here you have health. Here you have wealth. Here you have love and you have power. You have every good and perfect gift accumulated in that unified energy field. Tesla knew it. Einstein knew it. The comedians knew it. The Aztec knew it. Every powerful culture that has ever been, every scientist that has ever been worth their pay, all understand that this unified energy field exists. This field feeds through our internal consciousness, our mind. Our mind is broken down, not broken down, but lifted up really, into the subconscious mind, the awakened mind, and the conscious mind. The subconscious mind and the internal consciousness are to connect together. That's what's supposed to happen. But before this happens now, your conscious mind wakes up every day and has to decide who it's going to serve. Who is it going to listen to? Is it going to listen to the principles and laws that make these emotions work in your life? Or is it going to listen to the breaking news of society? That breaking news that's coming out every day means that it's breaking you. It's breaking your resolve. It's breaking your courage. It's breaking your identity. It's breaking your power. It's breaking you down. And you know what else is breaking? It's breaking your immune system. Because you are full of stress, you are full of anxiety, you are full of fear. And fear leads to death. Fear is the embracing of a negative consequence before it even happens. So you need your conscious mind to concentrate on things like I talked about earlier that Yeshua said. You know, you hear people say things like, and I'm going to tell you who the Lord is in a minute, but just those of you that aren't Christian, just walk with me because I got to talk to everybody. I am the Lord that healeth thee. What is that? What happened to that? What happened to that? There's a balm in Gilead. Where's the balm? Is it at Kroger? H-E-B? CVS? The balm is in you. You are the most powerful immunity that you have through your own mind and your own mental contemplation. Are you with me? I need you to understand that. Because, why do you say this? It's hard, man. Wait, hold on. I'll tell you why I say that. I want you to think. Have you ever seen a strong person get whooped by a weak person or a smaller person? A strong person, an educated person, an intelligent person, a spiritually gifted person can have a fear or a phobia that is so bad, or insecurity that's so bad it makes them weak. Like an elephant jumping out of his skin over a mouse. You see? Because the person that is strong is only strong to the degree that they believe it. So the scripture says then, let the weak say, I am strong. Why? Is the weak lying? Is the weak saying that there's not an enemy? No. But there's a difference between awareness and fear. There's a difference between prevention and nutting up. That's the difference. If we get into a fight and I'm aware of the enemy, right? Then I prepare for the enemy. But if we get into a fight and I'm shaking so hard I can't even throw a punch back, and I'm just sitting there taking it, I'm just sitting back, just sitting in the house, in the closet, crying, talking about the world will never be what it was. Well, is that really so bad? I mean, if you starving in Somalia, you ain't really feeling that right now. If you're hungry, being raped and robbed in Sudan, you're not really feeling that right now. In fact, some people are kind of glad that the oppressive agents of society have been silenced. So, a strong person can have a fear. Now, I believe that all of you are strong. But your fear and your phobia and your insecurity can make you so weak that something inferior to you, oh boy, something that was created on earth, you're binding it in heaven. So it's created on the terrestrial plane. And you're going and getting it, putting it in the gift box, taking it up to the subconscious mind and say, could you please bind this in the field? Which then goes into your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind then creates the experience. In addition to any cure, any antidote that comes out, fear must be led away in chains. Because fear is the vibration that's keeping it going. Anxiety is the vibration that's keeping it going. But more than that, discontent. I'm disturbed. I'm off my center because so-called negative things in my stability has been disturbed. That's causing the problem. That's a big part of the problem. So, thus any enemy looks to find your Achilles heel. A bully looks to find where you're weak. Abusers look to find where you're weak. People that treat you with corruption in employment look to find where you're weak. And so does an illness. It looks to find where you're weak. Rather than simply looking at what you can do based on what the enemy says it's going to do to you, why don't you look at yourself and understand what can I do to make myself invincible? We talked last week about there's certain kind of people you shouldn't be around anyway. So you're not losing anything there. We talked about, there's plenty of food at the grocery store if you're eating the right thing. If you're not eating 5 to 6 times a day, you probably won't run out too quick. If you are consuming the proper nutrition, if you are good with the apple cider vinegar, you good with the ginger, you good with the garlic, you taking in the antioxidants, you taking in the proper tea, you're keeping your body warm, you're not dieting on Babylonian food. Look at it's critical, I think about Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, and I think about not only did they refuse to bow down, but they refused to eat what Nebuchadnezzar ate. Isn't it interesting that Daniel refused to eat the meat of the so-called king? Who's sitting on your throne? Did you really want to change society, or did you just want a piece of the pie? That's the question. And those of us that are truly ascended masters, doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter to us what comes back. We know how to be a base, we know how to be about. Wherever we are there with content. Because our energy system and our evolution is not contingent upon society. That's just one thing that we seek after. To be in the vibration of that field and to inquire as to the teaching and the knowledge, the wisdom and understanding of what is in that field. That is what we want to dine on. So we want our conscious mind now to make us a stronger human being. A stronger human being. Why? Because a weak person can understand their enemy and act with such precision that they can defeat a larger, seemingly stronger enemy. Your mental efficiency is your first and most important weapon. So we want the internal consciousness, which is the message coming from the universe, which some people in various circles, in religious circles, might call the Holy Spirit, to commune and come together with our Mary, our subconscious mind, the willing mother of the seed in our mind of the universe. And when the internal consciousness and the subconscious mind come together, when the principles and laws of the universe, I'm not talking about Mosaic law, I'm talking about things like the law of attraction. See, before you contract something, you have to attract it. Before you contract it, you got to attract it. And so the law of attraction precedes the earth law of contraction of disease. I have to have a diseased mind in order to attract the forces that break down the immunity that allow me to contract. That's the law. So, how do I get there? So, my subconscious mind now needs to be fed. It can be fed from that kind of principle, or it can be fed from people that are living in fear. When my subconscious mind is fed from the internal consciousness, something is born in me. Now, over the certain amount of time, we talk, well, what's born in you? Purpose, okay? Purpose is born in you. That's true. So when these two come together, purpose is born. But purpose means multiplication. Every human being's purpose is the multiplication of these energies. And you multiply it through your anointing, you multiply it through your talent, and you multiply it through your skill. Right? Your anointing, your gift. What are you gifted to do? Your talent and your skill. When you are obedient to these things, what is produced now is divine mind. So conscious mind will become divine mind. And that's when you hear in the scriptures where it says, whatever you do in my name, that means that I need to be like you, into the same psychology that you are into. I have to be in that divine mind. Well, what is in that divine mind? Yes, anointing, talent, and skill, but principles and laws of the universe is what guides this divine mind. Wise is the man or the woman that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly. That's the divine mind that you have to be in. Let that mind be in you. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So everything in my life is being transformed by the renewing of my mind. So the conscious mind is transformed into the divine mind. And the divine mind is following the science, or the universal laws and the universal principles. So when divine mind now is following universal law and universal principle, it's got a different set of wisdom and information to take to the subconscious mind. So now the subconscious mind is ready for that second birth, for that second connection with the divine mind. So the divine mind now is going back and going to now have a bride, a body of divinity that it's now going to feed, and that's going to create your experience. So when you're dining on universal law and universal principles, you're taking something different. You have a whole different view of everything that's going on around you than everybody else. Are you with me? So now what happens is your divine mind is now bringing science to your subconscious mind. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because now you're in the science, and that's the Lord for the Christian. That's the Mahdi for the Muslim. The divine mind, the science of mind, biovibrational science is the Lord. What happens when I get into the science? Let's go back to that scripture. Now I told you last week we don't look at these biblical texts and these Quranic texts as history that's giving us a spiritual implication. They are magic. They are spells. Some of you may not like that terminology, but that's what it is. When you read this book of Psalms, you are invoking spells, right? Manifestation and spell is the same thing. A manifesto is a list of things. When you spell something, you're spelling out what you want. And you thought it was just Wiccan. You don't understand Wiccan. You don't understand it. What they're calling Wiccan, you called everyday life when you were in your right mind. You calling it, voodoo and all this kind of thing. It's just your natural spirituality. Why are you afraid of yourself? Oh, somebody sowed some tares among the wheat of your mind. And so now you can't call on your ancestral spirits or the awakened mind and all of your support to come to your aid. Yeshua was in the garden and he was being attacked by a foreign force. And Peter, one of the tribes of mind, one of the faculties of his mind says, listen, let's attack, let's get aggressive. Let's do this, let's do some terrestrial thing. And divine mind said, wait, don't you know that I have a portal that I can call all of the forces of the universe in to help me at this moment if that's what I want to happen? So do you. You have those forces available to you if you're in that divine mind. But you got to understand now. So these are spells. So when you look, for example, at that 23rd Psalm, and you replace Lord with science, it says, if I'm in the science, I shall not want. Wow. You could go somewhere else and it says, I once was young and now I'm old, but I never seen the righteous forsaken or their seed begging for bread. Now, if that's in my mind, then I am not encapsulated in the fear of what is being taken from me or what they're saying is going on with the economy. I already know I am taken care of because I'm in a certain kind of psychology. That doesn't apply to me. No matter what happens, it doesn't apply to me. But what's deep about it, I hope y'all following this. What's deep about it is when they turn the fire up. See, it was all right when you were standing on the outside of the fire and you were just talking. I'm a believer, right? I'm good to go. I got my faith. You stand there, you got that 300-pound Bible over there, or you got that 20-pound Quran, and you doing the salat and all that. You looking all holy and all that. That's easy. But when you are faced with getting in the fire and them turning the fire up, and you're not a frog, You know, you can't turn it up a little at a time. You feel it from jump. Now is when we burn away, listen, when we burn away the fat of the meat, what's left? Are you gold or do you melt? Will you come out as pure gold or will you melt as a lesser element? That's the question. Don't freeze. Don't shrink. Don't fall. Don't falter. Stay the course. And you're going to see something beautiful happen in your life. When you're in the science, you're good. You shall not want. Go out with whatever you need to have. You say, but it's empty. Is it? Or is there something there? See, your bowl is not empty, right? Just because you don't see anything physical in it. There's energy in that. You need to alchemize your mind to turn that substantive energy into the material expression that you want to have. You said, but everybody's going through this. You're not everybody. Favor ain't fair. Only those that are pure in heart, only those that are in this type of mindset that understand that I create my reality by my will and by my mind, those are the people that are going to make it. Are you with me? So the science, because the science is my directive, because I'm going by universal principles and law, I'm not going on. Because I'm following instructions. Secondly, this is deep. This is I will tell you, I had a whole experience in my kitchen just thinking about this next line. It makes me to lie down in great green pastures. Why is that significant? Even when I mess up and do something that is not in my own best interest, when I'm in this science and in universal law, it's going to make me do the right thing. I didn't want to do the right thing. I didn't want to go to that particular store. It made me go to that store because that was the store I was going to go to get straight through the line and get back in my car and go home without running into any crazy people, no lines, no nothing. I wasn't even trying to go. I was trying to go somewhere else. And I happened to go to that particular place, and I had found everything I was looking for that probably was not at the other place. Why? Because I'm in the science. It makes me to lie down. Where? In green pastures. Now, you got to understand that particular scripture was talking about sheep. For sheep, green pasture is heaven. Green pasture, I mean, you got plenty to eat, nice, cool place. You got everything you want. Because you in green. Not only is it going to make me lie down, it's going to make me go to the right place. When I get there, it's going to have more of an abundance than what I could ever want. Now, on the other side, right? On the other side, so you have now the divine mind over here, where universal law is. On this other side, right? You got Yeshua over here. On this other side with the breaking news is Barabbas. Are you going to crucify your divine mind and let Barabbas go? Barabbas was a thief and a murderer from the beginning. Terrestrial thought process is going to kill you from the very beginning. So you got to understand now that when you're over here in this other psychology, that's not what you're going to hear. Prepare yourself. I can hardly say it, but I have to say it just to touch you. Prepare yourself for the worst week ever. For who? For who? You said that's insensitive. Do you want sensitivity or do you want to survive? Do you want a sensitivity or do you want to multiply? Do you want sensitivity or do you want a new world order? You can't have both. One to be taken and one to be left. So which one you going to be? That's the question. Let me go deeper. Green pastures. You will experience prosperity even when you would not have made the best decision. Leads me beside the still waters. It's critical. For the sheep, the still water is the best place because sheep don't think well all the time. You know, sheep fall into rough waters and that's it. But still waters is great because it's gentle water. The water's flowing slow. So the sheep can put his little mouth down there and drink. If it slip off in there, it's okay. Everything's fine. See, you need still waters right now. You need peace in your life right now. And that's what the science of mind brings you, what universal law brings you. It brings you that kind of peacefulness. Restores my soul, restores my psyche. Just at the moment, I'm about to go crazy. Just at the moment, I'm going stir crazy. Just at the moment, I'm nutting up, I'm losing it. The science restores me. You can turn on something you heard today, whether it was the mantra, whether it was the prayer to the Orishas, whether it was the meditation, right? It restores you. See? I know some of you go out and you order, your paper and all of your stuff and your supplies, and Amazon, FedEx, just so happy. But I'm going to tell you something you need to get. You need to make sure you got some sprays, some oils, some stones to restore your mind. Not just restore what's in it. What you going to do with all that stuff when you crazy? When you crazy as hell. And maybe you wouldn't have to struggle so hard to get it if you had the stones, the spray, the oil, and the resins that you needed to draw or attract that to you. I have bread to eat that you don't understand. How are we going to feed all these people? The people are hungry. Send them home. No, you feed them. With what? Start off with your mind. There are a few fish here. That's enough. Now let's bless this and multiply it. You understand? You say you believe this stuff. You say you understand. Well, first you don't understand it, but if you say you believed it, let's get with it. Let's get with it, baby. Let's do this thing. All right? Now, look, if you're looking for the wrong food, the universe might not be able to help you get a good pork chop, or some ribs, or some brisket, or all of that. You might not be able to barbecue right now and get your beer and your drink on. There's a correction happening. So you got to walk according to what you said you believed in the first place. You'd be all right if you hadn't forgotten your first love. I'm almost out. Hold on. Leads, guides me on the right path. Now this is the best part, and I'm going to move on. I'm going to close this thing out. Look. You're not going to believe this. It's yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Now, it doesn't enumerate specific types of evil that I could fear. Remove some and keep others. This says I'm not going to fear, I'm fearing no evil. Why? Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Look at this. Well, what is the rod and staff? You got to understand. The rod is what the science used, what the shepherd used to protect the sheep. The staff, see, when you got a rod and something's attacking the sheep, when the enemy comes, you can use the rod to run them away. Shango is a rod, see. You got to understand what you're working with. You have run enemies away before. You say, yeah, but that was people. No, that was energies. You still, I know what you're thinking, but you're still not wrestling against flesh and blood. You are still wrestling against principalities and powers. You're still dealing with energy. It's an energy, and you're being tried. Can you hold the line? That's the question. The staff rescues you. So the rod protects me, right? And then the staff rescues me. The principles, right? My principles protect me, right? And the laws, they save me. They rescue me. Now you understand what salvation really means. So now let's get some homework and we'll be done. So, divine mind positioning. You understand you got to have a divine mind. You understand divine mind really is salvation when the mind is the science. And that's the only divine mind that you can have. You understand that? So we now got to engage in practicing 3 essential mental arts. Number 1, the art of power, position, force, and leverage. So as you leave now, I want you to understand the difference between divine mind, between Yeshua and Barabbas, right? You have the world that thinks that being loud, being aggressive, and taking risks implies strength. So I've been in places and I hear people that get loud. They get loud, they start fighting in the store, or fighting wherever they are. And they say, I'm just trying to practice social distance. You need to get back off me, That ain't gonna protect you. Getting loud is not gonna fix it. They get aggressive, right? They gonna give me what I want. That's not gonna help you either. Then you have people that take unnecessary risks. Nobody's telling you to be a fool, right? Nobody's telling you to be stupid. Not telling you to take unnecessary risks. That's not intelligent. So you got some people, they go places, they break the law, they do things they're not supposed to do. Nobody's telling you to do that. Nobody's telling you to do that. Right? That's ignorant. None of those approaches work, and all of that's based on your ego. What is divine mind telling you to do? Position yourself on higher ground. Position yourself on higher ground. Which means that I'm not going to lose my character. I'm not going to stop loving people. Right? I'm not going to stop calling people. I'm not going to stop manifesting for people. I'm not going to stop giving to people. If I have, you have. I'm not going to hold back what I know I have as though I may not have it tomorrow. That's ignorant. I'm not doing any of that. I'm still going to be giving. I'm still going to be loving. I'm still going to be nurturing. I'm still going to be there for people that need me to be there. Right? I'm not going to make people feel uncomfortable no matter where I find them in a situation. I'm going to take the higher ground. If you need this particular vehicle to feel comfortable in wherever we are, I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to rise up early in the morning and take care of what I need to take care of so I'm not in the friction. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I'm not going to get caught up in the fray. I'm going to occupy the space of correct information. I'm going to listen to specific people that are giving me naturopathic advice. I'm going to listen to specific people that are giving me good spiritual advice. And I'm going to work very hard and very diligent to be a higher spiritual being coming out of this than I was when I went into it. I'm going to understand where my control is. You can't control what this society is going to do. You can't control the stock market. You can't control the job market. You could, to some degree, if you put your mind on it, but wouldn't it be better to put your mind on your elevation? Put your mind on your elevation and your liberation and you being in connection, wealth, and access, peace, harmony, and balance. And then everything else around you will have to submit to that. But if you put your mind on what they're doing, trying to force them to do it, getting into these negative conversations, that's not helping you. Good. Number 2, the art of energy. You need to get into the art of energy. The internal art of atmosphere and mood. Right now, you need to watch your mood. When you feel yourself slipping into a negative mood, you're going to have to find a way to get out of that, right? You got to find a way to get out of that mood. Playing a mantra, playing some happy music, playing a game with your children, anything. Taking a walk. Some of the freedoms that you still have are some of the best freedoms in the world. Don't you see it's a correction? Take a good walk. Hug a tree. I hugged a tree the other day. I know the people in the park probably thought I was crazy. I could care less what they thought. Because that tree felt so good. I can't touch anybody. I can't hug anybody. You can hug nature. Nature ain't somebody. I think that's the best body. In fact, that might just be the antibody we need. Hug the trees, talk to the plants. Nobody's going to make you stay out that store. Nobody's going to keep you out of there. Nobody's going to keep you from being in the water, you know, going out and sitting and watching the water flow and feeling the energy of yourself flowing as you're watching that. I want to tell you about 2 dangerous mental positions. And might hurt your feelings a little bit, but I'm almost done anyway. Empathy and sympathy are very dangerous mental positions right now. Why? Because they allow you to observe the negative energy of someone's experience and absorb it without mandating that you release them from it. When I'm empathetic or sympathetic, now sympathy is, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I see what you're going through. And those of us that are masters, you know, we look on the news and we see, you know, you see, well, you can't miss it. They're trying to get it to you any way they can. And so you get this information. They say, I mean, these amount of people have perished. These are the people that are most likely to do it. They got to sell you on it because they still got commercials going on after. Ain't that deep? But you have, and then you hear from your friends, you hear your neighbors and so forth. And you say, man, I feel sorry for you. Right? So I can feel that, I can absorb that, but sympathy doesn't make me do something about it. Empathy is even deeper because not only do I feel sorry that happened to you, I actually start to take on the emotions and the feeling of what happened to you into me. So when I hear about somebody that contracted this situation, then I start to feel what they feel. And I even start to experience symptoms. Don't you tell me you haven't. You start feeling like, well, that's probably just something, you know. And you start getting scared yourself. Can't sleep. What that was. You know, you start getting, you scared to death. You got a man the hell up, woman the hell up. Now, come on, man. We got to be better than that. But that's what it is. But you said, well, am I wrong for being empathetic? We're not talking about right and wrong. See, that's Barabbas. We're talking about functional and dysfunctional. So it's dysfunctional for you to get empathetic and sympathetic without coming up with a help for the people you're talking about. You're not doing them any good feeling sorry for them, and you're not doing them any good taking on the condition or the mental condition that they're in. Both of you in the ditch, how either one of you gonna get out? So, you say, well, what am I supposed to do then? You've got to have positive awareness. You got to be on the optimistic side. You got to see them being better. So when they call you and they say, oh, I'm going through this, that, and the other, I see you already blessed. I'm talking to you now. I see you better already. I see you healthy. I see you wealthy. I see you having everything you need. I see you experiencing miracles in the midst of chaos. I see you and your family growing closer. I see you with a smile on your face, and I see you as an invincible human being. It's going to be all right. Let's grow and multiply together. That's how you got to treat any situation you get where somebody is bringing you fear. You got to give them back courage. Are you with me? When somebody's bringing you negativity, you've got to give them back positivity. Because whatever you sow, that's what's going to grow. Whatever you sow, that's what's going to grow. Positive awareness, give them mind science for manifestation, teach them to visualize themselves in a better situation, teach them to visualize themselves with an aura of protection around them. That's what I want you to do for yourself too. I want you to visualize yourself with an aura of protection around yourself, around your finances, around your children, and around your life. And as I said, give them V-Vibe technology. Give them some vibrational technology, right? Send them, go on the website, order them some spray, send them a spray, send them some protection spray. But they don't have any more hand sanitizer. We got plenty protection spray. We got plenty tones. We got things that you can use, that you can send people to get them in the mind they need to be in order to save their life. Lastly, and perhaps to some degree most critically, the art of lightness. We're too heavy. All of this has got you feeling heavy. You're carrying a cross, right? That's the Son of Man, not the son or daughter of God, right? You got to get out of being son of man, right? Son of daughter, son of woman. You got to get out that daughter of woman. You got to get out of that lower vibration. You got to resurrect yourself. It's time for a second reality, a second coming of self. It's time for a second reality, a second coming of self. It's time for a second reality, a second coming of self. You now have to come into a different vibration, right? You're carrying too much weight. You're crucifying yourself, right? You have now got to come not from below and go up, not from the grave up, but from the ethers, from the universe, and manifest downward what you want to see in this experience. So what does that mean? I need you to let go of anything you are attached to. Anything you've been crying over because it's no longer there, let it go. You know why? Because when you do that, the universe starts to move. Whatever you lost, the universe has more of it and better of it. 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 I'm manifesting that to you right now. More of it and better of it. So stop being attached to what you used to do every day, because that's keeping it going. But you can't detach because you want to get back what you did every day. You have to connect with what you feel can be and start to say, man, when this is all over with, what new world, what new experience of wonderful reality am I going to have? That's how you got to see it. See, if you're attached to being the big boss, you might have a little problem right now. If you're attached to telling other people what to do and running other people around, you might have a little issue. But if you like Bob Marley, you just want to share the porch, you just want to kind of sit around the fire again and have your beloved around you, then you can still feel that after the rain is gone, love can come back, right? You can still kind of feel that if that's where you want to be. I think that's where you need to be. You need to detach from the titles, detach from the social fantasy and all of the stuff that made you the big boss, and connect with that which made you a total and whole human being. That's what you need to do. Get rid of the no halves to halves. I have to have this. No, you don't have to have anything. Stop telling yourself what you have to have. As soon as it's over with, I'm going to go get this. You're keeping it going. You're keeping it going. But more than that, you're keeping the beautiful manifestation of what the universe wants to give all of us from arriving. This is a correction. Accept the correction. Accept the correction. No time necessity. That's the last thing. Get out of this. How much longer is this going to go on? How much longer is this going to keep happening? I tell everybody that I work with in martial arts, when you get to the highest level of dealing with your horse stance, we practice a stance where we have to be stationary for quite some time. And I will never forget it. Be nice if he was watching my Sifu, Robert Phillips. I can remember being initiated into Hung Gar Kung Fu. And I remember going into a very old and dusty building with a chair. It was a chair in the corner, and it was draped over with this really not very expensive drapery. That's where the master sat. We were there alone, and he said we had been out getting up early in the morning. Every morning we get up and go out about 5:30 out to Memorial Park in the cold, in the wet, in the rain. Didn't matter what was going on. Had to stay out there and stand in the stands. And I thought I was already being initiated until he took me to that place and said, okay, you're going to have to get into this stance in order for me to give you permission to train. I'm like, well, what was that we were doing before? You have to give you permission to train in order for you to achieve permission to train now. Because all you did was show that you deserve to have the opportunity to get permission to train. You're going to need to stand here in this horse stance until this incense goes out. And it's not one of those little skinny incenses, one of them big fat 1 hour or more incense. And I remember the first time that I was going through it, I was standing there looking at the incense and the clock the whole time. How much longer? How much longer? How much longer? And after about 30 minutes of being in that stance, which was actually pretty good, with a big pool of my own sweat there, I collapsed. I mean, I cried for a week. And all I could hope for was that I'd get a second chance. The second time, the second coming, the divine mind, the divine answer to any situation is to just say, I'm here. We're here. This is what's happening now. Well, how long do you think you can stand it? I'm here. I'm not looking at how much time has gone by. I'm not looking at how much more time is going to happen. I'm not looking at what's been lost. I'm just a tree planted by that water, and I'm unmoved. Thank you for listening. May consciousness bless you. As we greet you in peace, I am.